if he doesn't connect what Regal told him and then what the Tiefling did in parting, there is this implication of action is necessary.
Action is necessary. Must eventually do something.
Well, I think it's a matter of there's no point in just passively attempting to gather information.
Must do something about it now.
We have to do something about it. We have to actively look.
Then he would probably take that as they should likely say their goodbyes and leave in the morning.
Yes.
Well, if you do say your goodbyes in the morning, we still have some nighttime mischief from Bright, and I need Selene to make a charisma save, please.
Charisma saving throw.
Oh no.
I'm good at these. Getting a blade reroll.
Ruh-roh.
Because I've still got that. I'm going to go ahead and re-roll it. 17.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Oh wait, you still have the luck blade? I thought you got rid of that for your magic weapon, your rapier.
No, I've still got it. I'm not using it as a weapon. It's got other effects that can be used without it being a weapon. And so I've actually still got it and attuned to it. And I picked my magical items with that still in mind.
Oh. Well, it won't be as bad. Aha, we have a Bright.
It won't be as bad, he says. Okay. That's not concerning.
Kiki. Stop it. You're not going to be able to open the door.
Da-da-da-da, we have a Bright again.
Woo!
I didn't realize I forgot to go off video.
That's fine. We got to see the pupper. At least a little bit,
There was
like
a pupper?
the tail. No, the big one.
Pupper?
It was the
All the fluff fell off his tail. It's very sad.
Oh. What is it that Bright would like to do before I mean it's nighttime, but before sleep befalls the group? And you possibly are leaving in the morning, question mark?
I mean, I'm not expecting to be leaving. We haven't even found Mercury yet. We barely even talked about Mercury. I mean, everybody's jumping the gun.
I mean, you did, and no one seems to know.
Yeah, but I bet they know more than they're letting on.
I mean, maybe, but I also don't like all these metaphors.
I don't know that they know anything. Really.
Yeah, like, no one can give us a straight answer here, so...
Yeah, that's not what they're about. Okay, so, mischief, right, so... Just a minute. Want to make sure I do this right.
Bright is about the mischief.
It's true.
It's what sustains her.
Also true.
Right. Also, maybe not as part of the mischief, but could when we go to bed, could you set an alarm specifically so Selene can't sneak up on me while I'm sleeping?
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you.
Of course, it'll only wake me up, not you. You know that.
Well, as my best friend, I trust that you will wake me up, so Selene will not kick me in the shin.
Did you say best friend? Okay, happy to
Yes.
do that. Yay. Yay. Oh, I have more fuzzies now. Okay, mischief. Okay,
Yes.
so
What would you like to do?
first thing we're gonna do is cast locate creature on our gnome friend.
Okay. You are definitely familiar with him, as you have been in his presence for a while. You have a sense for his tone of voice, his proclivities, etc., and so forth.
So, is he around?
Yes, he is on the second floor of the dorm.
That's just wonderful. Okay, let's go on up. And we'll see if I can find his room.
Well, his room is easy to find because it's also a lot of other people's rooms. Because these are big communal sleeping areas. There are like some screens that some can put up for a modicum of privacy. But it's easy to tell where he is because his corner is absolutely filled with potted plants and flowers and other things.
That's wonderful. And is it filled with him also?
Yes. In fact, he is sleeping. He is sleeping right next to a jasmine bush, and it smells wonderful. All the flowers have opened up at night and are very perfumey.
Yeah, you can make wonderful perfumes of lilac and jasmine and frankenberry. So let's and it's just a completely open?
Yeah, there are open sleeping areas. A lot of people are just sleeping on mats. Some have bed rolls. Some people are using a somewhat of a privacy screen. But it's not it's not like a hotel or anything. It's an open. Each floor is open, and some people have decorated, or they might have some few possessions that are sort of indicating that this is their space.
Huh. Wow, that's just crazy. I don't even know what to make of this. It's so easy. Okay, I'll get hold of myself. Okay, so many targets. Okay.
Are you waiting until a very wee hour of the morning, then, I presume?
I mean, not that wee, because I still need to get my long rest. This is going to be one of the first things I do when everyone's going to bed.
Okay.
So, what we're going to do is we're just going to memorize. The location.
Sure.
A real good idea of it. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and conjure up Peggy Sue.
Sure.
And let her observe.
In bird form, cricket. I love that plush.
I want to use the cricket, but bird is really the better choice.
Okay.
In almost all situations. It's just how it kind of is. So I'll just let her, perch in a little tree somewhere.
Sure.
Play up and
There's like big rafters that are keeping the floors up and suspended. And...
yeah, perfect. And this is all within like 100 feet, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wonderful. I can even do this from the safe distance. So what I'm going to do is, using the remote sensing ability of Peggy Sue, I'm I'm going to, right before bed, I'm going to cast Wish. And I'm going to wish for plant growth.
Now, which effect? The 1 hour effect or the 8 hour effect?
Just the 1 hour. It's actually so that's a good question. Since I'm using Wish, I could probably ask for the 8 hour effect instantaneously, because I don't know. It doesn't matter. I don't want to do that. I want the instant one.
Okay.
So I'm going to cast the short version so that all of his plants, and if possible his toupee, all
Yes.
become overgrown.
Yep, yeah, he has the moss skull cap, so okay.
Once I've seen the results of my handiwork through Peggy Sue, I'll go ahead and recall her. We're gonna have such good snuggling tonight.
All right. So when while not a wee hour, it is still a sleeping time hour, as I presume you like you want Brother Flower to be asleep and probably other people on the floor too.
Yeah, I want people to be more or less asleep.
Okay. So you're doing your prep work. The itch for mischief is there. You sneak upstairs. You have the remote sensing. Everything's in place, and you give Brother Flower kind of a Rip Van Winkle, like almost in a reverse though. Like instead of he grows old and gets a long beard, like everything around him, plant-wise, grows old, and he gets a long moss skull cap as well. So the jasmine bush absolutely grows and just explodes with flowers and a beautiful scent. His mossy like toupee / skull cap is just like tendrils of moss, just like absolutely coursing over him. All of these potted plants and everything just grow and explode around, and are even like there's this like the whole corner of the building is just becoming not like a bad infested, but like it's infested with like the plants, as they're even like growing over other sleeping monks and initiates that are here, just because the plants have nowhere else to go, so they're creeping over a lot of other people. Proud of yourself, Bright. You make your way back to.
I don't have to make my way.
Oh,
in
that's
here.
right. Yeah,
I can
because
cast it
it's
from the safety of my room.
okay.
I have remote targeting.
So yeah, when your sight returns, because you have to like flip it on or off, right? You get your eyeballs or your familiar's eyeballs.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There is a dark figure dressed all in robes that is looming over Selene for the briefest of moments and seemingly disappears as your eyes return. In your familiar vision, you have this big grin on as you're like, hey, got him. Through there, your eyes sort of roll back into normal place as your vision returns, and feeling high and mighty, proud of yourself for that. You are met with this sight of this robed figure disappearing into Selene.
Oh, can you maybe explain that a little more in detail?
Yeah.
Like, did it look like it was like a spirit of some sort, or like an actual person, or merged into her, or what the heck happened?
It appeared solid, but there was a figure that was by Selene and seemingly vanished when you came back to your senses, and it did maybe like a little like, hope no one saw me, or maybe you did. I don't know. You're kind of an exhibitionist about this. And then you catch this figure that was sort of like looming or hovering over Selene, and as your mind turns over and clicks that that's not right, and then boop, it disappears.
Huh. Did it just like vanish, or I mean, you said it looks like it disappeared into her. What are we seeing there?
It descended down into the floor, also where Selene is. So it could have gone into Selene. It could have gone down through the floor, but it did. The solid figure did pull some sort of an insubstantial form.
Lane's not sleeping though, right?
Selene, no, because she doesn't sleep.
She does not. No.
Mordecai is fast
So-
asleep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mordecai
okay,
and Norlai
so
are.
Quick,
What?
quick response. I cast Detect Thoughts in radar mode.
Okay. There's a lot because the whole place it's filled with a bunch of initiates and monks.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. Did I get a good enough look at this guy to use locate creature on him?
No.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay, well, I'll go over to Selene then.
All right, 1 second here.
That's a very good question. Alright, so
Selene is awake. In fact, she even sees you approaching.
Selene, did you see the guy who was right there?
no.
There was a big hooded figure, and he was standing over you, and then it disappeared. It was a whole big thing.
That's strange. I didn't see anything.
Yeah.
I do fancy a walk though.
Yeah, let's do that. Do you mind
Let's
if
go
I
fill
go
up the
with
straw.
you?
No, by all means, please.
Also, before bed, I'm casting Mage Armor.
Okay.
Protecting my shins.
And
kneecaps.
yeah, Selene and Brad are gonna go for a walk.
Okay.
So I still have Detect Thoughts on.
Mm-hmm.
I just want you to know that. It's in radar mode. I'm not gonna probe Selene, not just yet, anyway.
Okay.
But I want to just keep that radar on. See if maybe like anyone follows us, or if I sense like two presences in Selene. Anything weird like that.
Okay. You get up, you open the door to the dormitory. Fog just pours in. It is such a dense cloud bank that is covering the mountain this evening. Pardon. But you head out
Oh my goodness.
and go for an evening constitutional with Selene.
Yeah.
As you begin to walk through the dark and the fog,
I'm gonna go ahead and cast Mage Armor too. It's
Paranoid.
creepy. Mage Armor.
All right.
I was only planning on pranks. I wasn't planning on this.
No one ever plans on anything. And
Well,
yet,
well, no, I plan on lots of things.
well, I mean, we didn't plan on going to the Feywild, and we went there. We didn't plan on going to hell, and yet you went there.
I mean, that's true. Those are weird, ominous things to bring up right now.
Well, it's just a matter of we simply ride the currents of fate wherever they dictate. And for us, that's been a very weird roller coaster of a course. And Selene is leading Bright out to the lake in the middle of the monastery. I figured that's as good a place as any to talk.
Yeah, sure. Let's go talk at the lake.
Walking and talking, it is very quiet. The fog has dampened any sort of natural sound. There's really no wind to speak of, so everything's just sort of settled. What little light might be peeking through from a source here or there is making the dewdrops glisten over everything, and a little bit of a chill in the air. It's cold mountain air. You are up high. And upon reaching the large pond, I'm not a pond. It's not small, but it's not a huge lake. But it's a small lake in the middle of this monastery. The water is completely flat, and it's even reflective of the sky and the stars and the moon, as there's no fog that is over the water, and a little ways all around the shore. And when you step out from the fog bank into this place, right, there are only two mines that you are detecting. And for all the other places that you might have passed, whether it could be someone who lives here just up in the night because they're out also for a walk, a constitutional, maybe they went to go get a midnight snack, or they needed to go find a little relief at nighttime as well. There are at least others. And now here, standing before this small lake with just a pristine surface that reflects the heavens above, it's just you, and it's just Selene. And it's a beautiful, maybe eerie, but it's a beautiful sight.
Yeah, it's kind of eerie. Did we just go out of range of everyone, or did they all just appear to suddenly vanish?
They appeared to suddenly vanish. There are no more mines except you two here.
So, Selene, what's going on? Something's up. Can I use an insight check on Selene? I want to find out if this is the real Selene that I'm used to.
Well, what is Selene doing now that you've reached this area? I won't say no, Bright, but I want to find out what Selene's doing first.
Selene is currently looking out over the water and the pure reflection. Also thinking about what was said at dinner. Nothing is as it seems, and neither is it otherwise.
Go ahead and roll insight then. Poppy.
A very scraggly, sad-looking puppy. Okay, I'll roll my insight. 17. That's all right.
I would like you
Unless
to
I get
make
advantage for having my detect thoughts.
that it won't be necessary, as this is going to lead you into a perception now.
Okay, I'll do that. I don't like that. I want to roll it again. I'm going to use a luck. That's better. 25.
Yeah. Well, 25 is a smidge better than 9. All right, I give that to you. You are giving a mental one-over on Selene, who is pensively looking over this still lake, and something does seem, I don't know, she seems very mellow, and it's not that she's not an unintelligent person, or that she can't be reflective, but maybe there's more of a stillness to her in this moment than what you're used to. Because Selene does tend to be more of a turbulent personality. More of a, I have something to say, I have something to do, like, I am here. And this is just a very still time. And your senses kick in along with your reading, your empathic connection to her. And you see in the water, where as you two are standing right on the edge of it, there is that robed figure that is standing where Selene should be in the water, in the image.
Huh. So instead of the reflection of Selene, there's this robed figure.
Yeah.
Can I recognize anything about it? Does it look like a Dementor? Or does it look like Ouijas? or does it look like anything?
There are no overt Ouijasian icons or symbols that you're familiar with, so that could be a sigh of relief. If anything, it probably does have more of the Dementor look. It is shrouded in a robe. There is no sign of a face or any flesh or a full figure, whether or not it's a tiefling with horns and a tail or anything more than it's probably not a gnome, unless it's 2 or 3 gnomes in a trench coat, which, I mean, it always could
Which
be.
we've been known to do.
Yeah,
probably not.
You should never not be ready for that to happen. And you did actually very, very well. You see that there is no you in the water.
So that's great. So Selene, so this pool, it's not your usual reflecting pool. Just want you to know that. See, check it out. Check out the reflections. See, even though I'm not a vampire, I don't have one. And you have, see, that's the guy. That's the guy I was talking about before, right there. So I'm hoping you can shed some light on the subject before I get, spooked.
Selene looks down at the pool.
Uh-huh. And you look down. There's the robed figure looks up.
How peculiar that is.
Yeah, I agree. It's rather peculiar. Do you have any idea what it is? if it's a cop, you have to tell me.
Somewhere Noraline in her sleep is just raising up her thumb in the air and just...
It's a law. It's a rule.
And yet she's so anti-authoritarian. Selene herself is kind of confused as to what's going on. It's like, yeah, that's the thing I want to talk about. So it is. Do you know anything about it? What else does she see?
Selene has an honest look of curiosity at what you have pointed out, Bright. And there's a moment where her features go from curious and observant to not a blank look, but a rather serene look. Selene has gone serene. And she stands up straight after kind of crouching down, looking around, examining, and goes to take a step forward into the water. Just stands up straight, puts a leg slightly out, and begins to step forward.
Hey, maybe you shouldn't go in the water, Selene. I mean, we don't know what it is.
She didn't hear you or didn't take your advice. And it looks like she's going to fall, belly flop in a sense, into the water.
Selene, don't go in the water. And she's not going to get to roll a save on that either. Because she is going to roll a 5.
There's a in this moment where you are commanding her not to do it, that look of serenity as she takes the step forward, there's Selene looks at you, and in this moment before falling forward, tells you, "I'm not," and falls, but there's no splash. Now, she's not standing next to you, but there's also no splash in the water. There's no ripples, only the moon and the stars. Not even a cloud, because there's no clouds around this pool, creating fog. What do you do, Bright?
She just... Well, that's weird. Okay, I need to review the, when I rolled my insight check, did I... Did I get any weird feelings from Selene, like it wasn't really her?
Oh. I mean... Probably it was an odd thing to get up and just go for a walk, or... as far as I'm recalling, that's not usual Selene behavior. She usually just pretends to sleep with you all, so other people don't get freaked out by her. So she usually just hangs out and just, watches over Mordecai, or will read a book or something, during your all's downtime. I mean, she still has to be still mechanically for a long rest, but she doesn't have to sleep. So she normally just pretends, or does something else. This is probably the first time that you've had her do a physical activity or at least a public physical activity at night.
Yeah. Okay. And she fell into the water and there was no splash. Okay. The next thing I want to do, is there like a stick or anything around that I can grab?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I'm gonna use my mage hand, and I'm gonna send my mage hand into the pool and prod around for Selene.
Okay. Your you conjure your mage hand and you send it into the water. And as you do, there's no ripple or interaction with the still surface of the water as your mage hand breaches it. And you will hear from beside you that you don't need to look for Selene. She's here. The voice is in booming but perfect gnomish, and is coming from Selene beside you. Though Selene is wearing robes that weren't what she was wearing when she went for her walk. But unlike the figure from before, like the hood would be down, and you can see that the figure in the robes appears to be Selene. Though you are being spoken to in this perfect enunciation of Gnomish.
Yeah. Celine's gnomish wasn't very good, and she had a pretty thick accent too. And so, hello, whoever you are. There's a lot of weird things about Selene, but this is weirder than average. So, would you mind explaining?
You have come to seek something or someone. I cannot offer you answers. I can offer you questions.
Well, as we've recently learned, it's really the same thing. So I don't mind. But nonetheless, can you ask me about what's going on?
I don't speak, but I will always tell the truth. What am I?
That's interesting.
Robe Selene. Now, where you're standing, by the way, Bright, where you're standing now, it is a night sky, but it is a night sky seemingly without stars or a moon. But there is a light, in a sense, that's around. There's a feeling of similarity, but you're no longer standing where you did.
Yeah. I mean, there's lots of things that could describe. Could be a journal or history book. Could be Selene's special book. Could be your conscience.
You do see standing here as well, you in the water, or whatever this is, this substance, this pool or whatnot. Though similar to the picture that you see, there's you, Bright, with you got your shoes and stockings and whatnot. And this time you have a reflection, but it's this. It's morbid. It's, in an eerie sense, almost reminding you of when you died. Seeing your own
Didn't die,
bones
I
and
became
self.
undead. Yeah, I was gonna say, this is... I can appreciate that this would be upsetting to a lot of people, but
Hmm.
it's really not that unusual for me. I mean,
Yeah.
I was like this for 10,000
Yeah.
years, so I mean, I've been like this for longer than I've been like this. Uh, kind of weird pictures. Is there a... is Selene doing anything?
Standing there in those same robes that are not hers, but she is within them. And she spoke to you in Gnomish and asked you, what am I? I don't speak, but I will always tell the truth. What am I?
I guess she didn't like my answers. I thought they were pretty good answers.
Well, you are also kind of mulling over answers, too. So if you wish to offer something definitively...
Yeah, I'm gonna offer Selene's special book as a definitive answer. I mean, as definitive as any can be.
Selene shakes her head and has a look of disappointment on her face.
Well, that's unfortunate. Do you have... Okay. I'm going to look around. Is there anything here besides the pool?
It's you two.
Selene, obviously.
It's you two. Now she's the one without a reflection in the water. You have your skeleton. There's not even a moon or stars in the sky for there to be in the pool either.
I guess it could be a reflection.
Selene.
That's kind of a stretch, but...
Selene nods sagely. And your image ripples, though there's no stone thrown in the water, no wind to disrupt it. But there are ripples that begin to play out over the water. And something else comes up. An image in the water.
I like the kitten.
What did your face look like before your parents were born?
I mean, it didn't really look like much of anything, because I wasn't here yet. would have been just a. I mean, you can look like. I mean, it's just an abstract concept. It's like just an idea, really. An idea that no one knows yet. But it still had a truth of its own, in its own way. You know, in a Plato's cave kind of a way, if that makes sense.
This stoic robe Selene offers no reply to your rhetorical questions.
I guess the future? I guess that's the way I can distill that into one word. The future.
I'm consulting with the Oracle one moment.
Delightful. Whatever happened to 3 legs in the evening and riddles like that?
Now, if it means anything to you, this is actually putting lethality in a bit of a pinch too, because I'm using him as a bit of a mouthpiece, but also I want some. I do want him to also do some role playing, like impromptu, along with this. Okay. So you look at robe shrouded Selene, and the answer that you offer to her question of what did your face look like before your parents were born, and you said the future. And once more, the images around you ripple and change.
What must a person who has nothing do to fix that state?
Well, that's a really interesting question. I mean, there's so many ways to interpret it. It doesn't really even sound like a riddle, it sounds more like life advice. A person who has nothing do to fix that state. I mean, it really depends on who they are. There's so many things. I mean, all they have to do is... I mean, there's really two answers. One of them is more monastery-ish, and what really comes to mind from all of our experience here is just acceptance. That having nothing is not a problem to be fixed. It's in some respects a goal to be achieved. But you could also look at it from the other side, which is if you have nothing, you never have nothing as long as, I mean, isn't there an old saying, as long as you've got your health, you've got everything? So you probably don't necessarily have nothing. You'll always have your friends or your family. I mean, at least one of those. You know, some of us come up a little short in one of those areas, but you'll always have something like that. That's what we've learned this whole time is it's the people that you build relationships with that are more important than anything that you would physically possess. So, I mean, just think about Norelai. She was living alone. She was on the street. She didn't really have anything, but she found Mr. Halver, and he was more important to her than than all the wealth that her family could have given her. Yeah, exactly. The real treasure was the friends we made along the way. So, I mean, I guess the answer I would give is it's that you don't fix it. You just realize what you actually had all along, or you realize what you've gained in the journey.
You are thinking too correctly.
I'm
Stop.
not sure if. Okay. Okay. That's. Even by gnomish standards, that's an odd instruction to give.
You're thinking too correctly about that. So stop thinking correctly.
I mean, the thing about riddles is there's always an infinite supply of wrong answers.
That's true.
If you want a wrong answer, I can give you lots of those.
Yes, but you need a creatively wrong answer. So these riddles as DM to player aren't perhaps as onerous as they might come across. But you can't give the obvious, or you can't give the I get it, but that's not what this is going for here. You even said it yourself. You got to think in these monastery terms, right? Stop thinking like Norelai. And
I also got it when it was posted.
I just started thinking like Norelai. Okay. What was the person who has nothing do to fix that state?
No, if you are honestly baffled, I'm not here to anger you or to upset you. We can do a
Oh,
skill check or something for a hint, but
I'm not going to go on tilt. I'm just a little stumped by the notion of the creatively wrong answer for such an open-ended question. I also hate to hold up the whole show because it's not fun to just watch somebody think and not know the answer.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, Coffee or Dark Wolf are allowed to say if you don't mind watching the spotlight on Bright here of her in the frying pan doing some sizzling, but
I don't mind.
That grumbles. Gee, thanks, guys. But
Okay.
we cannot use an intelligence skill if you would like a hint, because this does not necessarily require intelligence. In fact, that's probably your anathema here.
Yeah, exactly. That's apparently the problem. It's the application of too much intelligence. Okay. Well,
This is the dump stat riddle dungeon.
Yeah, let me ask about this scene that we're looking at. Like,
Sure.
Is this what I'm actually seeing? Is it representative? Can you describe it a little bit more?
So in this scene, you are seeing an overly large moon. You are seeing the stars. So this is new because these didn't exist before. And you are getting a reflection, but that seemed to be what the answer was to the one of those other questions. So it's probably not reflection again. but you are... I mean, this is... The moon is extremely large. You are getting something that is... that has depth, that has a fullness to it.
It's extremely large, and apparently it's been broken in half.
Yeah, because you can see the stars on the...
I can see
on
the
the dark side.
stars. Huh. Wonder what sort of cataclysm caused
So-
that. Okay.
It's the moon, but it's
answer I'm
not the
gonna
moon?
go with, yeah, based on the first two questions, what we saw in the reflection of the skeleton, the references to Oiho, and then the notion of what you were before your parents were born. The best way to fix the state of having nothing is to die.
Selene has a moment of contemplation and shakes her head in a rather disappointing fashion, in a sense, but that is not changing the state of having nothing.
Well, I mean, that's true, but it eliminates the basis for asking the question. Okay. Let me try again then.
Yep.
It might be. I mean, let's think about. I don't know. What to have nothing. I mean, suppose I accept the premise of the question at face value, which you should never do with a riddle. But what are most of the people who have come to the monastery doing? They're all people who were lost. They may have had physical wealth, but I mean, if this question is about physical wealth, then we're gonna have some cantankerous grumping from a gnome.
Noted.
They may have had they may have had something. Some probably had nothing except the clothes on their backs. Others may have come from wealthy families, where I mean, it doesn't really matter here. That's the thing. Everybody's on an even footing, no matter who they are, where they come from, what they believe, what they have, what they've done. It's a place where you can go and have a reset. Maybe that's why it appeals to me, because it reminds me of home. But it's the experience that I never really had at home, because it didn't work that way for me. Maybe that's why I like it so much. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, someone who has nothing has no purpose, and coming here helps people find their purpose. Because, I mean, I've always heard there's an old saying, happiness is having something to do. And not being happy is very much something that has to be fixed. And if you have no purpose, you effectively have nothing. It's kind of like when I said, if you've got your health, you've got everything. But in a way, it's more important than that, because you can be happy even if you have very poor health, because you found your place in the world, and that's what the monastery helps people do. So let's say if you have nothing, you need to find your purpose.
That does not address the question of the question.
I might say one of those gnomish curse words. Okay. Okay.
One moment,
wonder
consulting with the
What
oracles.
else I can come up with?
I'm trying to provide a roleplay prompt here for Selene, because Selene, on her part, with help of the luck blade and such, she is also able to offer you maybe hints or insight, as she is being possessed by this Regal entity. But I would want lethality through Selene to have these little breakouts, or a moment of insight from within, since she is sort of inside herself, but also Regal.
And there will be that little shift as Selene herself speaks. I think for those who have nothing, what is it that one who has nothing has?
You mean besides nothing? That seems like a tautology.
You said it yourself, did you not?
Nothing?
They have nothing.
Right. Is this like simultaneous tea and no tea? I wonder if anyone gets that besides me. If someone has nothing, then that means they have something because they have nothing and that's a thing that they have?
How do you fix that state?
Selene does. I can see the cogs turning. You're right there.
Mm. Yeah. I mean,
Regal's voice takes over. Right. You're placing the emphasis on the obvious. Stop thinking normally. Stop using your intelligence. It is there within the question.
yeah.
Shift your focus, Bright.
Yeah.
Nothing isn't the issue.
so much brain fart.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get this one. Sorry. I think this is not
Good.
gonna be a success.
Go ahead and now with how Regal is coming across, this is not if you don't answer the questions, the life of your friends is hanging in the line or anything like that. It's frustrating, but it's the approach is that of a teacher. It's just what he's teaching you is adversarial in a sense to the way that you've been thinking. Go ahead and roll an insight, because you got to stop using intelligence, and this is more of a nice. That's a
20.
That's a 20.
It's not a natural 20, just a regular 20.
No, it's all right. You're very unnatural anyway, so it fits.
That's true.
With what Regal had told you, nothing isn't the issue. So it's not the nothing that needs to be fixed. That's not the state that needs to be remedied. And the emphasis that you've placed, and very obviously so, and reasonably so, and that's the problem, is it's reasonable. It's the nothing that you're considering. When it's another word that is creating the state that nothing is attached to, that needs to be remedied. So it's not the state of nothingness or nothing. It's the state of
being a person?
I don't know, your characters are stopping
answered
people a while
you could
ago.
die. And that didn't solve it.
No. It's a very close word to the nothing.
Anything? Maybe? I'm lost.
Remember, it
Completely 100%
has
lost.
nothing to do with nothing. Nothing is not
Yeah,
the
I
issue.
know.
Can I may have a clue.
Okay. What you got, Coffee?
It's the state of having.
Oh.
That's the part that needs fixed. So if they have nothing, they should have something.
Nope. It's a good thing your life isn't on the line, because Regal would have snapped your neck in your sleep.
God damn.
You're close, but then you went back to using your brain. Stop it. Smooth brains only in this riddle dungeon. Nothing
But
and
it is the
nothingness. Its synonyms and antonyms are not the issue with the question. You were
But
correct
it
at
is the
first.
state of having.
Ah. And therefore?
How does one remedy
Yeah.
having?
Usually, like what the world has been up to right now, taking.
If you have something and you don't want it anymore, you can give it away. Giving away nothing, that's kind of what Mr. Flower did. Right, with Norla, he gave her nothing, but then he pretended that he did give her something. But it was an abstract kind of a thing. You could give your nothing away. I'm not sure how people would know, even if you gave them nothing. Would they just open an empty box? And then I don't know. That doesn't make enough sense to me. But maybe that's the point. Maybe you could give people nothing and share your nothing with everyone. Then you would cease to. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, but things that did make sense didn't work, so.
Regal / Selene is sagely nodding, as that is correct. If you have nothing and you want to fix that state, get rid of nothing. Fix your state of having, because having is the issue, not the nothing. And so how do you stop having?
To add to that, when you gain something, what else do you do? When you go from having nothing to having something, you gain something, but what else do you have? What else happens?
Come on, mouse, where are you? There you go.
You
Well,
have something to give.
Yes. You had nothing, you have something, you gained something, and lost.
Nothing.
Therefore, when you gain
ripples.
something,
Once more, in this, you're in the water, but you're not in the water. These are images, but it's the reality around you. Whatever the weird thing is. As the ripples take form, this is what you see around you. There's a drop of water, and contained in it is a fish. Okay. And once more, Regal, after nodding sagely at the baffled Bright for shifting your focus from the obvious to the not so obvious, will ask another question, as that is the purpose of people coming here.
I speak without a mouth, and hear without ears. I have no body, yet I come alive with the wind. What am I?
Okay, well, at least it's a more traditional riddle. I might have a chance.
That one is more traditional, yes.
Well, it's not in my riddle database in my brain, so I'm gonna have to solve it.
No brains allowed here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the hair without ears. That's kind of the sticky one. I don't know what that is gonna mean. Yeah, well, let's go with a woo's guess of a book. I mean, I guess that for one of the other riddles, it wasn't right, but maybe it's right this time.
The figure shakes her head in a no.
Okay. Yeah, because books don't really hear, but I mean, if you wrote in them, they could maybe be considered to be hearing. I like the idea of the pages fluttering in the wind, though. That's kind of fun. I mean, a lot of things come alive with the wind and speak in the metaphorical sense of like making whistling sounds. You know, that's kind of it. So, you know, lots of things like chimes and whatever would qualify, but I don't know how they hear without ears, so that doesn't seem to make sense.
Yeah. Would you like a hint of some kind based on, I don't know, a relevant skill challenge? But not a challenge, not
Sure,
a full challenge.
I'll take a skill check on this one.
Is there what part of this question is intriguing you? What is a keyword that you are baffled over or you think is crucial?
Yeah, I think it's here. Here is the word that I'm stuck on. So let's get a clue on here if we can.
Okay. I'd like you to make a medicine check then for me, please. Let's see how well you do.
I'm not very good at medicine. Medicine for me is like athletics for Mordecai.
Oh no.
It just doesn't work out.
See, there we go, crit fail.
That is in fact. Now I don't know. Do you have any portents that you would
I only
choose
have
to?
bad portents. That should have been a sign that I took.
All right. Well, even with that red number 1, I can still give you a little bit of something if that is the
Now I'll get
focus.
a bad clue.
It's not going to be a throw you off
Wrong
clue. It just
hint.
won't be perhaps a juicy clue. But the hearing is the reception of sound.
Sure is.
Yep.
Okay.
So, as a DM who thinks that might be a little beam of sunlight on the answer to the question, it is an obvious statement, but it does stress the point that it might have something to do with the reception of sound.
Yeah, okay.
And if it helps that
so,
you might find something in the picture to look at, you got like a bloop.
Yeah.
If you picture the drop or what.
Oh, of course. I mean, it could be like the I wasn't even looking at the clue on the screen, which is this fish in this ripple on the lake. Of course, been a lot of ripples and things, but most of them didn't have fish.
Trying to go for an
The fish has
aquatic
a
theme
body,
with things.
So, yeah, the fish has a body though, so it's not the fish. But what doesn't have a body is the lake itself, because they make sounds when waves crash, and they have no body because it's not a thing. It's just a thing, and it comes alive with the wind because that's what stirs up the waves. And here without ears, I don't know, but I'm going with waves. Let's try waves.
Judge Selene / Regal. Nah. Regal looks disappointed, Bright. But if it means anything, you're probably the most hopeful among the 4 of the Chroma Company to visit the monastery. So...
I mean, I'm trying.
It's being tested, I imagine.
Mordecai is the big dummy.
I'm trying as hard as I can. I'm also trying not to cheat. I mean, I could have looked this up on Google, but
I appreciate you not doing it. I realize you could.
Okay, so hearing without ears. That's still the sticking point.
Yeah.
So
it gives and takes sound.
Yeah.
Yes,
And it doesn't have a body. Because there's lots of animals that hear without ears. Crickets hear without ears. I know a lot about crickets.
the
And
other
they
thing.
hear without mouths. And they kind of come alive with wind, but they have bodies. So it's not crickets. I wish it was crickets.
I can offer this. It's not so much a hint, but kind of a concatenation of the hint that you've been given. I speak without a mouth and receive sound without ears. I have no body,
Yes.
yet I come alive with the wind.
Yes. Yeah, that's the question, all right. What if it's a ghost? They can do all those things. And people sometimes mistake wind for ghosts. So it's kind of lines up. And they don't have bodies.
I will cash in a DM favor because you absolutely made me laugh with your undead horse puns in song. I'm gonna give you a freebie hint on this.
Oh, yay.
That's kind of an inspiration. because I legitimately loved your the corpse is a corpse song. Regal turns to you wearing Bright and the robes. Not Bright, wearing Selene and the robes. Shall I repeat myself? Repeat myself?
Oh, so it's an echo. That's easy. Because it speaks without a mouth, because it's just a repeat of a sound, and it hears because it has to take the sound in before it can say it back. Of course, it doesn't have a body, and then the wind will make the sound carry. So that makes sense. We could call it either an echo or like a canyon that produces an echo or reverberation chamber that, like, if the wind blows over it, it makes it go woo. There's lots of things along those lines. So that's my impression. I didn't have a bottle to blow onto.
I got one here.
I had one too.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
The figure is going to nod sagely, however.
Matt, do you also have a sparkling water / sparkling ice?
Yes, I do. The strawberry lemonade.
I have black raspberry.
The as you mention Echo, and Regal nods sagely in your direction, the ripples course out once more.
You see a boat filled with people. It has not sunk, but when you look again, you do not see a single person on the boat. Why?
Well, I mean, there could be lots of reasons. Maybe there was a mass polymorph. They all got turned into crickets. I have crickets on the brain. Or maybe maybe the boat didn't sink, but they thought it was going to, so they all jumped off. Or maybe it's just a really nice day and they all wanted to go swimming. Or maybe they went below decks. That's probably the easiest answer. Let's suppose they all went below decks, and so I can't see them now.
You're thinking too much, Bright.
Yeah, well, I do that.
You're after what it seems to be, not what it is otherwise.
Maybe it's a painting. Like, it's a painting of boat filled with people, but then I look again, and of course there are no people because it's just a painting. Or maybe it's one of those stupid, if we're gonna pretend words don't mean what they mean, riddles. Sorry.
You of all people, Bright, should know that there is an underlying reality to that which we experience normally. You have the power to tap into that layer, to see into it, to affect it. These exercises are meant to hone that thinking, to disjoint you from what is real and obvious.
Okay. I like the painting better, though. That's better. But yeah, I think the answer from the peanut gallery is probably the correct one here. Where you don't see a single person on the boat because there's a lot of people on the boat. But I like the painting idea better. It's just way cooler.
The painting is producing a negative response from Regal / Selene.
Boo. Boo.
By this point, Mordecai's sleeping body is overtaken by creeping vines and moss.
That's mean.
That's okay. I mean, he's been turned into mushrooms and all kinds of things. So creeping vines are probably not a big deal for him. But yeah, let's go with the peanut gallery answer of because there are several, so you don't see a single person, you see a bunch.
That has already been stated in the question, Bright.
Okay. Well, all right. So we'll come up with something else then, I suppose.
Is there a word in the question that is piquing your interest that you might wish to skill into a hint?
No, not really. This is like there's no obvious obvious sticking word like there was with the last one. I mean, I have lots of interesting options here. They're just probably not what the answer is supposed to be. Right? Like how they all jumped into the water because it was a good day for a swim, or they all went below decks, or maybe I couldn't see them because the sun was in my eyes, so I couldn't see them on the second try.
That last one is creative, but it's still a negative. The other ones are way too obvious. You're thinking way too realistically. Or obviously, I should say. Also, hopefully Bright appreciates the aesthetic of standing on the lake shore and seeing a giant whale floating through the clouds.
Yes, I'm actually quite happy about the whale. That's very enjoyable.
That
It's
whale
just
was
not,
also on fire, it looks like.
Well,
The,
I don't think the
the
whale's
Sky Shadow
actually on
Leviathan
fire.
is a huge whale.
Ah!
I think it's meant to be a sunset, but maybe not. I don't know.
Those are probably clouds, but even so.
Yeah, clouds illuminated by a sunset. Yeah, but that doesn't explain the whale. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know.
How's about... Because you have been focusing, whether you know it or not, as the DM listening to your out loud thinking and your stab at guesses, which fortunately don't turn into stabs at your friends in their sleep when they're defenseless, and I could easily murder them while you're away. Just throwing that out there for random reasons.
Yeah, let's not do that.
I would be
Well,
ashamed because, like, the
God,
monks could save them, but they're all bound up in vines. So, you know, I would like you to roll a performance check, please.
Okay, I'll do performance. 13.
13. Okay.
Well, for someone who doesn't have the proficiency and isn't super focused on charisma,
Yeah.
better than a dump stat, but
It is.
not really where I focused.
All right. Well, I've been on boats before. I've been on the Lellywellyn's Gamble. I've been
Multiple times.
I've been on a couple times. I've been on some airships. I've been on a riverboat.
It's true.
Are there any other boats that you've been on?
Probably in my life at some point. 'Cause
Well,
had
I guess in the grand scheme of your 10,000 years, yes, but that would be relevant in the game's context. That would come up
the
as
Lily
perhaps
Wallens
a...
Gamble and the Leviathan are the main ones, or
Repentless.
what you call it?
Repentless.
Repentless. Yeah, that's the one. You can tell that my brain is fried because I'm not even able to remember the Repentless.
water, people. Why was it done through performance? Well, you do have a penchant, to be generous, for mischief. So some sort of mischief sense is tingling in reference to this.
Yeah. and
Where could you have
performance
been
is
mischievous on a boat?
Yeah, I mean, at the wedding. Maybe that's it. Maybe, I mean, I think that's close enough to my. They all got off because they wanted to go for a swim, but they all got off because they were there for some special function in the boat, and then it was over. Like maybe it was Mordecai, or maybe it was Mordecai and Celine's wedding, and we saw that, and then everybody got off because it was just an old barge, really, in the end.
Thinking a
wasn't-
little too literally.
Well, I mean, I
Hmm.
know that's why I didn't like it, but that seemed to be the where we were encouraged to go.
Oh, it's a
So
the
you,
idea.
you have a very, there we go, because you brought it up. Bloop. You were on a boat with others, and you see a boat filled with people. It hasn't sunk, but when you look again, you don't see a single person on the boat.
Was everyone married? Is that the deal? Because everyone was married, and then since it was a wedding, the last people who weren't. Now let's keep in mind that there were several people there who were not married. In fact, everyone was single pretty much, except for Mordecai and Selene. But hypothetically, if everybody was a couple, and then the last people who were there were getting married, and then there were no more single people, that'd be fun.
The figure nods sagely.
Because there was a marriage and the last single people were no longer single.
Yeah, you saw a boat filled with people, but when you looked again, you didn't see a single person. Why? Because they were all married.
Okay, that one wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. That's kind of fun.
And as your DM, I'm trying to also make it relevant to things that you could invoke or might have been a
Yeah,
reference.
Of
And
course, of course.
so the whale turns in the sky, swoops over the water, creating splashes, waves, and ripples, not unlike an echo. And as the waters still once more,
How is 7 different from the rest of the numbers between 1 and 10?
Huh. Well, that's interesting. I mean, well, lots of them are prime. 2 and 3 and 5 are all prime.
7 is also prime.
Yeah, but then it's not different from those other ones. Besides, if this is if this is I mean, if it's as non-literal as all the other ones, then looking for mathematical things about 7 is going to be the wrong solution. I will say that 7 is the number that all the other numbers are afraid of because 7, 8, 9.
you give Regal a moment to pause and consider. A minor victory, but he still shakes his head.
That's unfortunate. I was hoping that would be it because I really liked that one.
Hey, if you got the riddle giver to stop and actually think about a counter answer, that is a small victory in itself. But you're in his world and his game right now, so. But it would seem that you are in that groove. You got the mojo. It's probably not a mathematical thing.
Okay. This is gonna be a fun one. I'm not sure where even to approach it from. I mean, I'm thinking about like the word 7 and the glyph that you used to draw it, and nothing is really coming to mind. It's not the only one, you know, with 5 letters or that's drawn with just two straight lines or anything like that. Well, I guess it is the only one that's drawn with 2 straight lines. Let's try that one. I mean, it's pretty dumb, but it could be.
It's also the only one with 5 letters.
No, 8 has 5 letters.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right. Never mind.
Three also has 5 letters.
Well, I'm an
Okay,
idiot,
that's-
so.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it is the only one that has a V. But these are such trivial things. But maybe that's what he's going for. I don't know. We'll try them.
It's also not the only one that has a V. 5 has a V.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, good point. Good point.
Bright, you're considering the number, and you just said not to.
Well, I know, but those were answers that it had somehow been magically beamed into my mind that I wanted to give a hearing to.
Good thing your friends' lives aren't at stake, and you're just throwing out random stuff.
I'm starting to get worried when he says that now.
I will say, not thinking about the number is definitely the right track.
I like Owu's second guess too. It's also pretty good, although I don't think it's the answer. Well, why don't we try Owu's answer? Because I have nothing to lose. It's not like her life is at stake.
Yeah, hopefully.
Is it that it's odd but has the word even in it?
You get a disappointed head shake.
Yeah. I didn't think that would be it.
You're
But it was
thinking
worth a try.
about the number, Bright. Stop.
I was thinking more about the word.
Quiet, you're suffocating.
Oh.
But no, don't forget.
I would say that there have been 7 members of Chroma Company, but there have been 8, so it's not that. Maybe 9, depending on how you count Jaden.
Yeah, that's kind of a weird thing. There's a variable there.
Okay, let me read the exact.
Mm-hmm.
How is 7 different from
That
the
is
rest
from
of
10.
the numbers between 1 and 10? Is it inclusive or exclusive?
Inclusive.
Okay, thanks. I mean, I have a suspicion that it's something that there's 7 of that's important to us, rather than something about the number 7 itself, because that's the hint we keep getting, is that there's really nothing special about the number 7. It's something that 7 must signify. 7, 7 countries in Mesotopia, or are there more than that?
There are 6.
Okay, well there we go then. Seven, 7, oh goodness.
It's been 11 or 12 of us, actually.
Really? Because there's the 4 of us, plus Casimir, that's 5. Selter, Jade, and Jacob / Jaden, so that makes...
There's Tazray and Raphael.
Tazray
Mhm.
and Raphael, of course.
Yeah.
And then Cypher.
And then Cypher. Maybe we've lost 7 members. Maybe that's it. There haven't been 7 members. 7 people have been lost.
I think
Yeah, if you count Jacob and Jaden, that's the same person.
a reread is important here. How is 7 different from the rest of the numbers between 1 and 10?
As Selene, for this, you can have one more breakthrough. If you would like to put quotation marks on something you want to emphasize, you can type it out again and highlight or capitalize or otherwise emphasize. As Selene is able to resist the complete. Would have been tougher if I actually had complete possession of her, but the at least mostly possessive nature of Regal in her entity.
Oh,
You say that, Dark Wolf, but what if that spoils it?
that is the highlighting that Selene offers.
I'm just gonna say we've been in this like puzzle dungeon, or like just bright for over an hour.
Yep, and we're almost finished too. This may very well be the final
That'll
riddle.
be nice. That would be nice.
So that is the highlighting that Selene gives you.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right, does someone in chat want to type it out?
Riddles cause brain death.
Since we're near the end of the game, I'm going to tag you. I had to tag you with one more of these before we end the campaign. This is it.
I can say I have now spied the correct answer from chat.
What, 2 syllables? Is that? Okay, let's go with that.
And to that, where the riddle is apparently about numbers, numerology, the symbolism of the numbers. It wasn't about what was obvious about the number 7. It's about, in this case, the pronunciation of it. 7 is the only number between 1 and 10 with 2 syllables. And so the focus is not the number 7, but the word 7 in the range as having that the obvious 7 that you see and interact with and you play with and you do math with and everything. But there's a uniqueness to it that isn't just the number, but the entity of 7 itself that underlies it. And with that, you find yourself standing at the pool. The fog is creeping over it, as it should have been. It's somewhat cold. There's a little bit of a wind. There are some ripples on the lake. It's not unnaturally smooth. And the robed figure of Selene with this perfect, otherworldly, gnomish pronunciation looks to you, Bright. Nothing is as it seems. Neither is it otherwise. You must understand this if you are to find the success that you seek. To have the effect that you want. And Selene's, now Selene without the robes, falls to her knees and collapses by the mostly still water shore of this pond as the robed figure of Regal depossesses her. She's not bleeding. She's not, well, she's not dead in the sense that would be a dead. And her eyes will flutter open. And her green and blues look up at you. She's there. Selene, you were along for the ride, albeit you were contained within this Regal entity. And I would like you, Selene, to make an insight.
I will happily make an insight. Go ahead and redance that. And insight. $20.
Okay. You ended up with a feeling about this character of Regal and the way that he was able to interact with you as he did means that he is not just like a wizard or is not like a ghost. This was very much an entity almost like you. Perhaps minorly different in some ways, but there's enough overlay that this Regal character shares a very similar nature to you in your current form. Now, any discussion that you want to have on the shore, you can have. when you get back to the initiate's dorm, you will find that the plant growth was very successful, and that there are a great many people who are snoring or slumbering under heaving tracts of sod or moss or vines or flowers that are kind of like woo, blowing in the breeze out of noses, as people have been crept over in the silence and the stillness of this night, including Mordecai and Norlai, who are very much alive and unstabbed. Well, that would imply that they were stabbed and then unstabbed. They were never stabbed to begin with. I should clarify.
Wouldn't that be de-stabbed rather than unstabbed?
I guess being de-stabbed would be like healing magic. It's Mordecai's job to de-stab people.
Maybe non-stabbed is the word you're going.
Yes, they are thoroughly
that's
non-stabbed.
Sort of healing. Stabbed and then the blade is removed and everything is healed. I'm not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna hurt you really, really bad.
And so, I mean, for the rest of your evenings, you will have enough time, more than enough, for your 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep or stillness or study, or even if you got a little riled up there and you got to take your aggression out with some more pranks around the monastery in the wee hours of the morning, you are absolutely welcome to do so. But the encounter...
I don't think I have any more pranks planned. Probably just need to sleep in.
Okay. But with the feeling from the encounter, as disturbing or frustrating, mysterious or whatnot as it is, was that this Regal character shares a lot of similarities with Selene, and also wasn't necessarily an adversary to you, Bright, but was trying to get you to see past something or through something, or to be able to peel back something for some reason. But he seemed fervent to be able to try and get that through to you with the several lessons, quote unquote, that he offered.
No, I appreciate it. I mean, I am here to learn, after all. Even if it's... I mean, that's the understanding, is that it's going to be weird and strange and not what you're expecting, so I'm not bothered.
I'm guessing we're awake then.
Yes, you will be. Now, I don't know how much longer you wanted to go, because we are past the 2 o'clock, and I'm sorry for that. The riddles weren't just me flexing on you as a DM. Slightly tongue-in-cheek with, like, this is my last chance to get one of these in before the game ends. Which is partially true. That's not the reason for it. Like with, I hope, everything else, there is significance. There are things that can be investigated and looked into to find relevance and to find something more than just what the event in the immediacy has offered. So I don't. If you want resolution, or if you want to close things down for the week, sit on it for a little bit and come back, because it will be the morning. If you don't want to be here in the morning, you can see if the Repentless can pick you up, or you fly towards it. Or if you want to continue to investigate and interview people, or look through racks of scrolls or books, or do personal training with some physical fitness dwarf or something, you can do that as well. The time is on your hands in this case.
Well, I think we're finally just starting to get... we've gotten past the hurdles, and now we're into the meat, where we can probably actually start to make progress investigating. I'd hate to leave now. We're just getting to the good part, hopefully. If we leave now, we won't really have accomplished anything. Not really. Well, I mean, I guess we will have learned that there are other creatures like Selene. At least one. But that just gives us more to investigate. We need to find out what his story is. I don't know. I think we should stay.
Hmm?
Well, if we wanted to talk it over, does Selene actually tell the rest of the party that he's similar
If
to
Selene
her?
didn't, I would.
That would be completely up to Selene. I'm not going to put those words in her mouth for you.
Is it not something that I would know as well? Is it only something Selene knows? Okay.
This is Selene is the only one who would be able to perceive that kind of resonance or that state of being. I mean, to you, you've seen ghosts possess people, or it could have been a magical thing, like you tried to dominate Selene to control her body. So, I mean, that is a possibility, but Selene would have the knowledge and the feeling that Regal bears this very strong resemblance to her, I don't know what you want to call it, life, unlife, relife? Relife might be better, or something.
Well, they don't call it dead, undead, and redead, so...
But yeah, that is absolutely Selene's call, and how much, or if she discusses that. Bright, you saw Regal interact with her, so you can be like, oh, he's a ghost, I don't know. But yeah, the nature of Regal is something that is Selene's to share.
And she would share that there's something definitely up about him, but she wouldn't be specific.
Now, I will say this as well, Selene. You are not unique, because when you came on the scene, there was another being like this as well.
Mm-hmm, Raphael.
Yeah. So.
And no, there is one. Selene does, however, really want answers. So if she is going to go to where she saw him walk off last night when he left the dining area.
Okay.
He did ask me whether or not I could trust him, or if I trust myself, if I could trust him.
Or did Mordecai outside of Selene?
What? Well, when Mordecai interacted with him,
Oh yeah.
Regal asked Mordecai, "Do you trust yourself? If you trust yourself, you can trust me," or something like that.
Hmm.
And he would say something like that. When Selene points out that there was something odd about him. He seemed to make the time skip, too. Like fast-forwarding walking distances, if that makes any sense.
As a note, this is the next day, so it's still nighttime.
I would imagine at breakfast.
No, yep, you know where the outdoor mess hall is.
So it's the next day?
Yes.
Okay. I no longer have baby arms.
Yay!
Ah, there you go. Bright's flower blanket rejuvenated you and filled you with vital energy.
Oh.
There was so much lilac and jasmine.
Not lilac and gooseberries?
So overpowered.
Frankenberries.
Oh, it was Frankenberry.
Thank goodness I'm not allergic to either of those two.
Yeah, you got that mortal allergy stuff going on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But that is what Mordecai points out during breakfast when it's brought up about Regal. So is the plan to stick around this morning then?
I mean, I don't know if there's actually anything they know about Mercury.
Maybe not.
Which is the only reason we came here.
Which is the primary reason that we came here, yes.
I think we're just getting enough. Whew, I'm still tired after last night. I think we're just finally getting enough. Getting enough. Rapport. Let's say rapport. Enough rapport with the people here to finally start getting something other than the runaround if we investigate. I'm not saying we can go full police detective.
Yeah.
I feel like we've invested enough
maybe
here
yesterday
that
they were
would be ineffective.
Yesterday they might have been just trolling us.
Yeah, exactly.
If I hear one more forsaken metaphor, though, I'm leaving.
I haven't seen any trolls.
I haven't seen any trolls either. But who's to say they weren't acting like trolls? However,
I mean,
stick around for one more day.
don't trolls put, like, say, riddles on bridges? It makes sense.
well, that does just mean that you have to decode the metaphor, Lorelei.
No, if I hear another metaphor, I'm leaving.
Think outside the box.
You know, the box is there for a reason.
The box restricts you.
It's not even like outside the box. It's like the box is in a completely different room.
Well, that's the whole idea behind creative thinking, isn't it? That thinking inside the box kind of limits you in your expression and everything.
It's just inefficient. Like, all we did was come in here and ask, hey, have you seen this person? And instead, we get people not giving flowers, and people not giving trees, and people who's, just say mysterious stuff and manipulate time, and we're just trying to find one person.
Well, two, technically.
I guess, but they're supposed to be together, so we find one, we find the other. And I think I think people would know if there was a 5-headed dragon somewhere.
There's a lot that can be said about what has happened in the past 24 hours or so. If you'll excuse me, however, I'll be back.
Where are you going?
To check up on something.
Do you want me to come with you?
Nah, this is something that's better done alone.
Okay.
And she is going to leave and head for Regal's building.
Okay. Mordecai, as she leaves,
Yeah, as she's leaving, I want to insight check her.
off the keyboard.
I want to insight check Selene as she's leaving. There's something weird.
I
She's
suppose
normally not this cagey around him.
I suppose I would contest this with either deception or persuasion, right?
If you're
I'm
trying to
not
play it off
lying.
as like, it's nothing, it's whatevs.
It'd be,
That'd be
I suppose,
deception,
yeah,
yeah.
it'd be deception. Yeah.
Good luck.
No. There's something definitely up.
He's gonna let her go,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not gonna stop him from being nosy later.
As you're watching her leave, hate to see her go, but love to watch her leave.
That thick booty.
Yeah. A thick slab of Aslandian elven flesh blocks your sight, Mordecai. And it is your good and fast friend, Natsog, who looks down to you. Did you finish breakfast? You want me to take your bowls to wash? I'm going that
may if
way
you like.
anyway.
You may if you like. It's no bother to me.
He looks at you, looks at the bowls. Disappointing, but I will. He picks it up, goes to turn and walk away after that kind of weird side comment. Looks back at you. I don't blame you for looking. And he continues to saunter off.
Wait, what? Looking. What?
Does he mean at Selene?
Question mark?
I mean, she's my wife. Of course I'd look at her.
And he doesn't blame you for looking at her. If that was the case. Maybe he meant him.
Maybe. I have a very specific type when it comes to the men that I like.
Mordecai prefers twinks.
What, you don't like the strong Aslandian accent? Have some scars on that
oh no.
face?
Oh no, don't get me wrong. He is attractive. But I like my attractiveness with a little bit more brains.
Roll another insight, Mordecai, since you are feeling rather insightful here.
I am. Oh!
Oh, you're too distracted by butts. All right. So unfortunately,
You also, you realize he also has a nice Aslandian accent.
No. He's a triangle with legs. He has no ass.
So I will leave you with your random thoughts and your confusion of breakfast and your dishes and of these two walking from you.
Yep.
The day is young, so Selene has chosen what she's gonna do. Bright and Noralai. I mean, if there's things you want to do, we can lock that in for consideration for our next session. Do you have an idea of?
I think Bright is finally in a position where maybe she can be a little more active in directing what happens to her. Like I said, probably not full like police detective mode, because they don't really respond to that here, even though they've started to get to know us. But maybe be able to be a little more in control of what sort of people we meet and how we interact with them. That's all.
Okay. I do agree. So if as you pursue your questions, I think we can we can work really well with the approach, because you have a much better feel for how these people think and operate, or the kind of information they can give you. It's not that like they're trying to not help you, but their help isn't normal help.
Right, exactly.
And then Noralai, what would you like to do for the day?
Probably hang out with Mordecai, but if she hears one more metaphor, she is going to call her brother to come pick her up.
All right, so according to my sundial, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're gonna hear it. Passing conversation. In fact, Noralai, I'll tell you what. I would like you to roll a perception.
Perception. I'm not actively listening. So I guess if someone directs a metaphor at me is when
Okay.
I draw the line.
No directed metaphor. Just someone mentioned you heard the name Weejas, but there's a lot of monks around, and I don't know. It's not like she's not talked about, even here. Well, this place is not dedicated to her. You know. But you did hear the name come up between monks. There's probably some sort of metaphor about her, but
Yeah. She has her sending stone in her pocket, ready to whip out.
Also, just as a point of order, I imagine the way that Mordecai looking at not Sags, but I imagine the way that role ends up concatenating into is Casimir's was better.
see, at least Casimir has that like
better.
lean, athletic look. Like Notsag is just like he's a muscle-bound.
He's
brute,
muscle-bound big boy with the triangle on legs.
Yeah.
He has no ass. If there's anything that Mordecai is, he's an ass man. He likes big booty.
All right, so
He's
I have the direction that you all are going to go in. So we're going to end this week's session. Even if you haven't realized it yet, I promise you all have learned things. I guess it would just be a matter of coming to fruition or the application of it. Ah, it's a puppy.
Popper.
And what we are going to do is... Let's go.
Doot.
We're gonna go raid another D&D game going on right now through the channel called Legendary Action Official, who is running a D&D game. They have come over and given us a raid and some looks before, so we can return the love and share the D&D energy with another D&D community. And I'm going to take us over there right now. So everyone, please join me in the raid. If you want to put something like... I don't have a slogan yet after switching from Maddie Morks to Hero Zone. So if you still want to put down Maddie Raid, that's fine. I'll have to think of something
Could just
witty
be Hero Raid.
for Hero Zone. What's that?
Hero raid.
Just a Hero
Hero
Raid?
Raid.
Yeah.
Raid of Heroes.
Raid of Heroes. All right. Well, yeah. So we can do a hero raid, everyone. I'll see you around. We will be on Discord if you need anything. I'll be up for a little bit longer, and then I will be hopefully going promptly to sleep because I severely need it. Yeah, just a Hero Zone raid. That'll work, Rip. Boss, hello. By the way, I liked the coloring that you did for the Tiamat event. By the way, we're giving away a free Gargantuan Tiamat. All you got to do is color a coloring book page for an entry. So enjoy that. It's a lot of fun. Keep your eyes open on that as it comes to fruition. And Dark Wolf and I will see you from the store tomorrow. And that's when the mystery box is going to close out too. Anyway, everyone, I'll see you later. Bye.